Spirituality means knowing that there is something larger than you out there that connects everything that is alive in the world. Without this force in our life, without this genuine understanding that there is in fact this larger thing, we can feel incredibly alone, we can feel a lack of drive, and oftentimes we can feel a desperate lack of love in the lives that we decide to lead. I've talked to people over the years that have asked me, hey, what is spirituality? I've talked to people that have accomplished great things in their life, and I've asked them, hey, are you spiritual? The core of it just boils down to something that is not visualizable by these people. Something that doesn't have a hard fact associated with it. It's a belief, essentially. And it's one of the oldest things that humans have had in our existence to allow us to persist in a world where we are constantly expected to evolve. We left evolution a while ago, about 10,000 years, when we decided farming and hoarding the resources around us was the way to live a comfortable life. So be it. 10,000 years later, here we are, slowly destroying the world and slowly separating ourselves from our communities. That's at least my belief and what I've seen a lot, and why I started to Robify, because I want to convince people that the way to live the healthiest, most beautiful life that you can is actually to uphold your community and to spend as much time as you possibly can building it up. The paradox of this is that in order to build up your community, you must build yourself up. And what better way to do it than to believe that you are part of something greater? Spirituality is the tool to unlock that sense of connection with the world around you. It is a way of feeling that you are an indication of how the universe should be. Everything inside of you, your heart, your mind, your lungs, your internal organs, your soul, those things are not unique in the world that we were created in. We are one of billions of species that has existed on this planet. And for us to believe that we are somehow superior or different than these things, fundamentally, I think is short-sighted, very short-sighted. And I think it's incredibly ungrateful as well. To think that somehow humans came out of nowhere and completely changed the paradigm of what it means to be alive and to have a soul and to have purpose in the entire universe. I don't know. It almost seems like a childish approach to trying to build our own self-esteem or pride, instead of letting go and realizing, hey, everything around us is in it for us. It is building us up constantly. There is so much love that you can get from nature, from the air you breathe, whether or not you're in a city or in the middle of a valley full of trees. The people around you, the organisms that you see, a cat on the street, a squirrel, a bird. None of it means you any harm. This is a cradle for our nurturing. And it's always been. We just haven't had the ability until probably very recently to make this aware to the larger populace. spirituality will take us from a level where we are grinding as individuals to a level where we are prospering as a society. Because all of us, ideally, will believe that we are not alone and that it is our sole responsibility to actually improve the condition of the community that we are in. Imagine what we could accomplish if we decided, each of us, that hey, a percentage of my time, a percentage of my life is going to be spent in the pursuit of making other people happier, other people more satisfied, other people better suited to adverse circumstances. Imagine what the world could become if each of us took that individual responsibility, that step. And that is why I'm here today talking to you about spirituality. Because I know that an essential part of taking that step is loving yourself and loving the things that you have always been exposed to. Even this noise in the background, the city streets, gunshots, so be it. Wrath, lust, envy, gluttony, the rest of the sins, so be it. Let it in. Let it sink into your bones and get a more realistic view of what the world is actually like. That it is balanced, despite all of the disgusting things that you might be seeing, because so many people are allowing those things into your view. And you, being someone that's reactive, will allow that thing to actually influence your perception of the world. Evil things, things that hurt us, things that are laughable, things that make us feel better about ourselves, are easier to digest. And this video might be hard for some of you to digest. I hope not. I'm trying to make it pretty casual and factual, in my opinion. But don't stray away from the messages that you need to hear. The messages that will make it so that your life is actually worth living when you wake up. Because for every data point of something evil, something wrong in this world, there is an equal and opposite, something that is great, something that is amazing, beautiful in this world. We just have to be willing to see both of them really for what they are and find a middle ground that allows us to be okay with the decisions that we make and actually quite happy with the direction that we're choosing to travel. You might be saying to yourself, okay, to Robify, sure, spirituality might be a thing. Well, I've never practiced spirituality, so how the hell do I get into it? Well, I would say go to the woods. It's always my recommendation. If you're stressed out, if we're feeling like things are out of our control and that we really need to unwind and we're too much in our own head, when we go to nature and sit there for a while, for an hour if you can, half an hour at the minimum, no phones, no technology, no distractions, to go and really just embrace the organisms that have created the very oxygen for us, the chemicals that they're releasing to make us feel better and connected to their ecosystem, to sit there and embrace all of that, to take in the air. I promise you, you will feel a sense of peace, and that is the beginning of spirituality. Knowing that your connection to your community is actually the thing that brings you the greatest peace. The second step after that is finding moments in your day where you can breathe and take into account the beautiful things that you're offered. Gratitude. Now you could go and adopt a religion to go about having a community of people that are already doing this. But I don't think it's required. The community that comes with religion is incredible. Certainly something that is very beneficial if you know how to parse out the parts that aren't prideful or human driven. But you can find this on your own too, by just taking the time to believe that it exists, to believe that that peace is this far away from us. It's just a matter of breathing and taking the time to realize that we are alive, and that so many other things around us are alive too, and that they care for us, and that we care for them. If you have a plant in your house, take some time to look at your plant. You got a pet, take some time to look at your pet. And you realize that these things, they're not here to hurt us in any capacity. They're not. That's not what the world's here for. The world is here for us to blossom, right? To show us, to give us the inspiration to be the best possible people that we can be, the best possible living organisms that we can be. The third step of spirituality, in my opinion, actually comes from pain. Something that I don't believe one should go out of their way to experience, but you can. But it's something that just kind of happens as we go on living, especially in this society. The pain that we get from not accomplishing our goals, or feeling that we are not adequate, or the loss of someone that we love. That pain instills in us a reality of this world. A reality that you have to know that though a flower does blossom, a flower dies too. And that's part of its life. That's part of its beauty. I hope I gave you something to think about today. And if you made it to this far in the video, check this out right here. I talk a little bit more about this vague spirituality that I'm trying to convey to people. Not in a religious sense, not at all, but as a point of therapy for us, so that we can feel the love that we deserve from the world. Remember, actualize your potential, my friend. The world needs you. Take care.